Here's Mamdani's Polymarket. They just literally tweeted this an hour and a half ago of what, Rob, I don't know if you saw this one with Humberto that he sent it in. You know which one I'm saying? Polymarket came up, okay? His rent freeze, the bet, if you want to make it, is 65% likely. There you go. 63% chance he delivers on his promise of rent freeze. Okay? Will Mamdani freeze New York City rent before 2027? 63 says yes. He's going to pull that off. What do you think? How terrible of an idea is this? How great of an idea is this, Barry?
Well, just go to where you have current rent freezes. It usually doesn't provide the best conditions. Landlords don't have incentives. Real estate values are harmed. You don't have people that want to purchase those because you can't make money on those properties. You have to give incentives for investment, and you have to give incentives for good conditions.
And why is this a bad thing?
I think rent freezes.
Who's turned off by this? Who does this hurt? Isn't this a noble thing?
Developers.
Isn't this helping out people that don't want their rents to increase? Isn't it fair for them to not have their rents being increased? Because he's saying it's a great idea, and people voted for this.
So who's going to provide the housing for that?
Correct.
Who's going to provide that type of housing, and what quality of housing would it be? You've got to figure out the finances on that one way or another.
Think about how bad just rent controls are. Like some of the most expensive areas in the world to live in are places that have rent controls, which is like New York and California already. But it's the same thing that you said, but just to a smaller magnitude of not wanting to build or not having an incentive to own. But it's that times 10.
Tom, thoughts?
The single family homeowner stops putting small homes as inventory out to rent. Large corporations and guys that own a lot of multi-dwelling units, MDUs, apartment buildings, they're still out there, but now their level of improvement, the level of investment in the property is lower, so the condition is lower. Heating, air conditioning systems, they choose to stretch them out and don't replace them as soon. But the single-family homeowner that retires often looks at it and says, if I can't do this, why take the risk on it? I'm not going to put that on the market. So that inventory never comes on the market. And sometimes they just decide, okay, we're going to sell it. And so what could have been a collection of other rentable units for the renting population is not there. So the quality goes down, but also the supply goes down. Milton Friedman is right.
He also said he wants to build 200,000 units somehow. So I don't know who's going to be doing all that building.
If you can't make money on them.
Right.
Yeah, satellite photos tend to show that the land area in New York is pretty built out, and there's water in the way. So unless you're going to drain the East River and get a bunch of rocks from New Jersey and find a way to make more land. I mean, well, good grief. Maybe he could talk to the Saudis. They built this offshore area that looked like palm trees and put very expensive apartment buildings on it. Maybe he could do something like that. But where? I want to know where. Where's he going to build these 200,000? Is this going to be eminent domain? Is he going to claim warehousing areas that are, what's he going to do?
By the way, let's go to. He may do it in the middle of Central Park now. Like, what's more important?
No, but eminent domain. You know what eminent domain is the right of a city to buy your house from you to make the off ramp for the freeway. Mm-hmm. They can do that. By the way, that happened in San Fernando Valley for the 101. There were homes that were right next to the 101, homes that were at the end of streets. It was eminent domain. You were paid market rate. Is he going to take and seize commercial property or other things to have land space for stuff? That is the socialist tool, my friends.
Don't rule it out.
Remember, eminent domain is your city's ability to steal from you and then just allegedly pay you market rate, but basically evict you.
You think he's capable of doing that?
Do I think he's capable of doing that? It's happened in America in the name of freeways, in the name of highways.
Do you think he's capable of doing that?
I think he's capable of that and more.
Just think of the heart of where it's changed and the brilliant job they've done in marketing, because it used to be that was the victim. The victim was the big bad government took it away from you. But now somehow they've flipped the script to say, you're no longer the victim, you're the bad guy because you have something that you own, and the government, by taking it away, is the good guy.
Right.
2026 is around the corner. Craziness is going on. for some of you guys that have big plans for 2026, I will remind you, whatever you do, do not go into 2026 without a business plan. It'll be a big mistake you're making. There are way too many moving parts. You know, every year when we do the business planning workshop, I openly talk about what threats and events we're concerned about happening the next year. We openly share with you, here's what we're looking at. Here's what we're seeing as possible enemy. And here's what we're seeing as an operator, the opportunities that exist for us. And we openly share it with you. We share with you how we're growing our YouTube channel and our media company, what our consulting firm is going. We're sharing our strategies with you. If you're somebody watching and saying, I'm sick and tired of playing small, I want to take my life and my business to the next level, the business planning workshop on December 12th is for you. But number two, if you're somebody that's running a business and you are already a millionaire, we have a lot of people that watch this content. You're doing 10 million a year, 100 million a year. Maybe you're doing a billion a year. You got a couple thousand employees, but you've gotten to a point where you're bored and it's repetitive. And it's just kind of like you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. This is a very, very good event to even wake you up as a leader of the company. So quietly, you can kind of get on the business planning workshop. It's not something that you have to be physically here from anywhere in the world. So if you haven't yet registered yet, click on a link below. Get registered December 12th. Let's spend an entire day together. We go through a 200-page manual together, which everybody will get. Or you can go to bpw.betdavidconsulting.com. Again, bpw.betdavidconsulting.com. Looking forward to seeing you guys there on December 12th. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.